tablet devices and digital inking for presenting mathematical and scientific reasoning in online STEM courses. Difficult choices and good outcomes.
Welcome. My name is Richard, and these are my colleagues Josh and Claire from the Teaching Innovation Unit at the University of South Australia. Creating high-quality online STEM degrees brings distinct challenges. Teachers and students need methods to communicate complex mathematical and scientific formula, diagrams and graphs in learning management systems that are designed around keyboard and mouse inputs. This challenge has been more evident with the recent increases in online learning due to the COVID-19 global pandemic. So as institutions aim to maintain high-quality learning experiences in virtual environments, there is an imperative to research technologies that can support students and academics communicate non-linear, non-text-based information in an online setting. This presentation demonstrates a process of technological investigation and curriculum design decision-making that aimed to maximise the development of high-quality online courses, academic capacity building, and positive student learning outcomes.
STEM teaching and learning is identified by its signature pedagogies that maximise student success and support the development of the necessary graduate skills. By moving STEM disciplines from the classroom to virtual settings, we need to maintain these signature pedagogies and the skills and knowledge they foster in graduates. But for students to succeed online, they need to be able to effectively communicate their knowledge of the content and demonstrate their learning through authentic assessment in the virtual context. Online course design for STEM courses faces challenges as the text-based nature of current learning management systems is less than optimal for mathematics-based disciplines. Students and teachers using a keyboard and mouse lack an effective interface that allows them to create and manipulate complex mathematical and scientific formula, graphs and diagrams online. Also, the rise in remotely invigilated online exams means that any technologies to solve this problem must be compatible with exam requirements. For students completing formative and summative assessments, access to affordable and user-friendly technological solutions can be limited, with new technologies often being challenging to learn and slow to use. Linear syntax, such as LaTeX, requires significant effort and time to learn. Graphical equation editors, which are more suitable for beginners, can be slow to use and can cause students to compress calculation steps, limiting teachers' ability to give feedback on students' application of procedural concepts. The digitisation of handwriting via scanning can lead to poor readability of responses and does not work in remotely invigilated exam settings. An alternative is the use of multiple choice style questions for communicating learning, but these can be considered a valid replacement for fully worked solutions, diagrams and graphs in summative assessments. Digital inking technologies have recently shown promise in STEM teaching and learning as a means for easily and accurately representing mathematics and science online, but studies have only investigated teacher use of digital inking. While there are technological solutions to these problems, implementing a digital technology into course design and development is neither simple nor straightforward, with many competing institutional, technological and teaching and learning factors, further compounded by the challenge of displaying non-text-based teaching and learning materials in the learning management system in ways that maximise accessibility for students. Aware of these challenges and complexities, we saw a viable solution for the efficient and accurate communication of non-text-based material in the learning management system.
This presentation is derived from our experiences in 2020, when we were charged with the task of developing a new, fully online associate degree in engineering, consisting of 16 online courses, each being a 10-week unit of study. We used an established collaborative approach involving our central learning and teaching unit, academic developers, online educational designers, AV specialists, along with academic subject matter experts. Courses were developed over a 12-week period across 18 months. And especially during the initial stages, we faced some important decision-making about what technologies to adopt. Hence this case study, which aimed to interrogate our practices and inform decision-making for the longer term. A case study approach was deemed the most appropriate way to investigate and articulate our method of technology appraisal and adoption for the particular teaching and learning challenges we've outlined previously. The research team analysed our context and processes in light of the scholarly literature and were able to harness their cumulative experiences and knowledges as reflective practitioners, as we will explain.
We will now discuss our process for investigating and determining suitable technologies for teacher and student use. In selecting a suitable technology for student use, we began by determining the critical technology requirements. Foremost was providing students a means to quickly and legibly respond to a set of questions and assessments, but in doing so introducing no academic integrity concerns. The technology needed to be easy to use, have a short learning curve, but also needed to integrate with the existing university systems, for example the learning management system, virtual classroom software, and the remote invigilation software and exams. The technology also needed to be appropriate across the whole degree and have no negative impact on the curriculum design, for example the type of assessment that could be used. To find the scope of technologies available, we completed an environmental scan and based on our criteria were able to eliminate several options immediately, such as touchscreens, hybrid PCs, tablet devices, document cameras and scanners for reasons including expense, availability, complexity and inability to work with the university systems. From this initial investigation, we ended up with a short list of 3 options. Those were graphical equation editors, graphics tablets and smart pens. In summary, we found that for each of these technologies, we then conducted in-depth testing in consultation with course teaching staff by using sample assessment papers and solutions from previous iterations of the courses. In summary, our testing found that overall, testers were impressed by the graphical equation editor's ability to provide clear, well-formatted notation. However, the complexity of the use in synchronous classrooms for real-time collaboration proved difficult. The equation editors also imposed limits on assessment types, constraining the use of graphing and freehand diagrams. Critically though, the equation editors were slow to gain proficiency, requiring significant practice to memorise symbol organisation in the editor, and on average were twice as slow as traditional handwriting. One of the equation editors offered handwriting conversion, which we tested with a graphics tablet, and whilst this was intuitive and had impressive character recognition, the system proved frustrating when characters and symbols were not recognised, and we noted that under the high-stakes pressure of an exam, it would be easy for students to miss where handwriting was not rendered correctly. The smart pen technologies were initially promising, being very similar to handwriting and as such intuitive to use. However, the cost to students was high and the setup of the technology complex. There also proved issues with their use in online exams where they contravened hardware and physical paper restrictions, and in virtual classrooms where synchronous use was not possible. Comparatively, the graphics tablets were similar to handwriting, quick and accurate to write solutions, easy to set up, and the immediacy of their input enabled real-time participation in virtual classrooms. The graphics tablets had a small cost to students, and there were some concerns about low readability while students gained proficiency writing in a digital stylus. Further, there were some technical hurdles integrating software and document upload during online exams, but these were identified early and solved. The results of this extensive testing were that students would need to purchase a wired graphics tablet to be used with Microsoft inking as part of the Microsoft suite. The images on the screen show a typical student technology setup and the resulting digital inking display. Wired technology was preferred due to academic integrity concerns associated with the use of wireless technology in online invigilated exams and the risk of the technology running out of battery partway through an assessment. Specific products were recommended to students to mitigate concerns that variations in product functionality would affect or influence student performance, i.e. those that could afford better products would be unfairly advantaged. Support for mastering these technologies was scaffolded across the degree using videos and activities for familiarisation so students could gain proficiency before the pressure of remotely invigilated online exams.
For teachers, technologies are required to support the communication of mathematics and science online, including course design and development, the creation of multimedia, marking and feedback on student assessments, and the facilitation of synchronous classes. An ideal scenario is the adoption of a single technological solution that will address all of these applications. Technologies available in our case were glass boards, whiteboards, interactive whiteboards, equation editors, graphics tablets, tablet PCs, and document cameras. To determine the best fit of technologies for these applications, technology testing criteria were developed against which technologies could be evaluated. Based on the testing criteria and existing literature, we determined that academics should use tablet PCs and digital inking, in this case utilising existing on-campus Wacom devices with Microsoft inking software. Digital inking using tablet PCs was selected in part because it was a single technology that could be used for creating multimedia, marking and giving feedback on student assessments, and facilitating synchronous classes, therefore minimising technological complexities. Importantly, for our purposes, digital inking enabled the accurate display of mathematical and scientific content, providing practical improvements to teaching without substantially altering signature STEM pedagogies. In synchronous classes, digital inking demonstrated the capability to increase teacher presence and enable active learning strategies. For multimedia, digital inking enabled presenters to conform to many of the research-based principles that guide practice. Another important factor in our case was the low barrier to usage, short learning curve, and the ability to work with existing institutional software, meaning academics required minimal training. Course development during COVID-19 and restricted access to campus facilities required a rapid solution to be deployed to ensure consistency of multimedia quality and access to technology familiar to course writers. After a condensed environmental scan and using lessons learnt from the previous technology testing, the Wacom One 13-inch tablet was provided to staff working from home. This technology was recommended due to the cost, portability, intuitiveness, continuity of experience from on-campus devices, and ease of use with academics' existing hardware, including potential limitations of home devices. The figure on screen illustrates a typical academic technology setup. For course design and development, another challenge was finding technologies that upheld accessibility standards while supporting the display of mathematical and scientific content in the text-based LMS. Based on existing literature, it was clear that the most effective way to achieve this was using LaTeX and MathJax filter in Moodle. As the courses were developed collaboratively, the main challenge was ensuring that the materials were reproduced accurately in LaTeX format. Course content was provided by subject matter experts in a variety of forms, including LaTeX, typed equations using Microsoft Equation Editor, images, as well as handwritten and scanned files. Where content was not supplied using LaTeX, educational developers investigated technologies to support the translation of content into LaTeX. After scoping several options, the development team identified the need for a range of tools, including MyScript Math in conjunction with inking to convert graphics tablet digital inking and MathPix to convert image files. The resulting LaTeX outputs could then be input into Moodle and H5P. The use of graphics tablet and software to convert digital writing to LaTeX and digitizing images to LaTeX resulted in significant time efficiencies, while maintaining the effective and accessible display of content.
When we commenced the development of these online engineering courses, there was very limited information available on students' use of technology, and what did exist had limited transferability outside of its context. Through systematic research, we investigated, evaluated and adopted digital inking technologies to address our needs. However, we realised that the pace of technological change and the contextual nature of our decision. So, having navigated these hard choices to determine appropriate technology for our fully online STEM courses, we have learned lessons about the teaching, learning, technological and user requirements against which STEM technologies can be evaluated. So, reflecting on and analysing our experiences, we have created a technology choice framework that may help guide others through the process of technological investigation and adoption. The framework is designed to work like a rubric, supporting the evaluation of technology by classifying its suitability based on whether it enhances, minimally affects or inhibits practice. The 3-point scale is not meant to imply that technology must meet a predetermined threshold, but rather the framework enables the comparative evaluation of technology's strengths and weaknesses. Depending on the teaching and learning and institutional factors, it may be more appropriate to choose a tool that is less technologically perfect, but better fits teacher, student or contextual needs. The criteria in the framework have been categorised into domains relating to learning and teaching, technological factors or the user experience. The individual criteria in each domain are revised versions of those used in our testing and evaluation process. However, we've made an effort to combine student and teacher requirements into a single collated list, as ultimately it is unproductive to consider one group without also considering the impacts on the other.
This presentation outlined some of the key considerations for academics and educational developers when adopting technologies to address the issues of online STEM learning and teaching in learning management systems which are ill-suited to the task of communicating complex mathematical and scientific formula, graphs and diagrams. Determining an appropriate technology for integration into online STEM courses is complex. Whichever solution is selected, there will be advantages and limitations. However, despite the hard choices, this showcase demonstrates that positive outcomes can be achieved by a well-researched, systematic and broadly applicable approach. Until learning management system design mitigates the limitations of text-based environments, academics and educational developers will continue to be challenged to assess and adopt technologies that meet their needs. The Technology Choice Framework offers one solution by providing a tool that can facilitate the systematic, criterion-referenced, objective decision-making necessary to evaluate technological innovations.